Jaden, and today we are going to talk about chapters 13 to 18, or you can just think of this as the end of A Long Walk to Water by Linda Sue Park. This is absolutely an amazing book, okay guys? So I hope that you enjoyed today's session. Okay, chapter 13, we know that there's two stories in this book, right? Naya and Salva, right? Salva's story is longer than Naya's. But anyway, what did you think about you need to have water to find water? Do you think that's inconvenient, or do you think that's funny? Or do you think something else about that? Okay? And what do you think about grit? So grit is something that you keep on doing something even though if it's hard, okay? And they have grit, right? Grit's really important too, okay? And the boss kept on encouraging, right? Grit. He had grit. What do you think about this? Have you ever had something like this happen before where you needed grit? I have. One time I was doing this really hard math problem. It was like something about decimals. I can do it now very fine. It was really easy. It's really easy now. But back then, I was 2 years younger than right now, so I didn't know how to do it. I was really frustrated. I was about to cry, but I kept on doing it. I kept on studying. I kept on watching this video about decimals. Finally, I mastered it. That was grit. Without grit, if I had just given up, then I still wouldn't know how to do decimals. But now I can do decimals really quickly. So that's one thing, okay? Anyway, Salva is in a very desperate situation. Hundreds of people were lining the riverbank. He was jumping in, and there was crocodiles, and the stream was dangerous. It's dangerous, right? If you had been Salva, how would you have reacted to this? I personally would be too terrified to even act, right? But then a little boy, what do you think about the boy, right? The little boy saved Salva. Yeah, but it was tragic, right? What do you think about war? How do you describe war? I think it's just tragic, horrible, bad. It's just, I can't even describe it. It's so bad, It's really bad. And also, now he goes to Kenya, right? And then Salva thinks of his brother Cool, right? But then he thinks this, right? Years have passed. Cool, not the little boy, he would be a teenager, right? What do you think about that? Have you ever had that kind of experience before? Not really, not for me, because I see my relatives all the time. But still, it will be really surprising, right? How do you think that Salva felt that he was the leader? What do you think of these people's lives? All of the boys, right? The other boys were following him. What do you think? What's all same in their lives? They all experience loss. War equals loss, devastation, chaos. And what did you feel about this? And were you surprised that it took them a year and a half to get all the way there? But now it's worth it. Okay, Southern Sudan 2009. We're going back to present day to Naya. So they were celebrating, cheering, but then Naya noticed that the water was full of mud. What did you think about this? Did you think that this was a bad thing, or do you think that you were like, hey, it's gonna be okay? Okay, we're going to the refugee camp. Salva was now 22 years old, not the boy that we started out with. How do you like that they're skipping big parts of Salva's life? Do you like it or do you not like it? But anyway, what do you think about refugee camps? They're pretty horrible to live in, right? Salva, do you feel sorry for Salva or not? And Salva really tries hard to learn English, right? Were you impressed by the effort? And do you think that Salva, and then there was a rumor spreading that people were going to go to America. If you had been Salva, would you have been devastated about the news, or would you have been happy? I mean, he'd be a little devastated maybe because he thought that maybe he wasn't going to be there, but at the same time, he'll be really excited, right? And I wanted to ask you, do you think that if you had been Salva, would you have wanted to leave? You might be like, of course, but think about it. You're leaving your home country. You're leaving everything that you knew. You're going to a new place. What do you think about going to new places, doing new things? Do you think they're scary or exciting, or does it depend? It depends. I mean, at first I was scared about fishing, but now I love it. It was really exciting, right? I was excited about fishing, and now I love it. So that's something exciting. I was excited about doing something new, but I was terrified about riding a roller coaster for the first time, and I'm still terrified. Maybe not the best example, but still, okay? And then Salva Dutt, he's going to Rochester, New York. Have you ever been to New York? I haven't, but it would be really cool if I did. My friend actually lived in New York, so I could actually ask him if he went to Rochester. I'll ask him. Okay, chapter 15, we're going to Southern Sudan, 2009. But, you know, were you relieved that the water was just, okay, it was just, they were gonna put some new pipes and all that. Do you think that this water, right, do you think this will just help all of the villagers? Of course it would, but what I wanted to ask you really was, let's see, how could I put this into words? What I wanted to ask you was, do you think that Naya will have more time for living because of this? You might think that Naya is living, but still, it's not really her life. She walks to the pond every day, every single day, right? Boring, but she has to go to school. She needs to learn things. She needs to read. She needs to do fun things, right? So so life is sort of about having good times, right? So do you think that this will give more time for life? Okay, anyway, we're going back to Salva. Do you think that the Lost Boys is an appropriate name for the boys who are going to America, okay? And also, how do you think that Salva will feel when he experiences winter for the very first time? I would be surprised, because I've experienced winter a lot with snow and all that, but Salva's never done it because he's in Africa, and Africa's hot, no winter. So, also, what do you think about old memories? Do you think that they're too painful, or do you think that they're special and that you shouldn't forget it? Everyone thinks differently about this, but I think that they're special. At the same time, they might be a little painful though. And also, in New York City, how do you think that Salva felt? When he looked at everything? When I ask you how he felt, it doesn't, use metaphors, adjectives, things like that, okay? And I would feel overwhelmed. I would feel scared. I would feel excited. I would feel like the king of the world in a way, because I had come over here. I had survived this far in my life, and I was going to do something new. I felt like the king of the world. I would feel like that. And what do you think about his new family? And also, I wanted to ask you, his new he was leaving Sudan, his family, his village, to a new life in America, a new family, a new place to live. It's heartbreaking to move. I moved from Wisconsin all the way to California. California is awesome. Warm weather, nature, amazing nature, but I still sometimes cry because I live in Southern California. It's all warm, no rain at all. Well, there's some rain, but barely here. And no snow at all either. No small. Nada. Zilch, nada. In Wisconsin, I love making snowballs and making snowmen. Okay, I'll stop. I'm getting a little choked up, okay? But and I don't want to cry right now. So let's just keep on going with the story. Okay, and have you ever had that kind of experience? I just shared I do have that kind of experience. Okay, chapter 16, Southern Sudan, 2009. Okay. What do you think that they were going to build, right? And what would you want them to build anyway? Okay, now we're going back to Selva, you know. Okay, I wanted to ask you about Selva and his English. Do you think that English is confusing, or do you think it's just that Selva's learning, that's why it's confusing? Do you think that learning new language is confusing? I sort of agree. I'm learning Spanish. First of all, I'm terrible at it. I only know numbers all the way to 10, and I only know a few words, a few colors in Spanish, okay? Anyway, now we learned that Salva's been in Rochester for 6 years, right? And anyway, United Nations Clinic, your father's stomach surgery. His father! What did you feel about that? And how do you think that Salva felt? Do you think that this will be do you think that this is sort of like the climax, the really big turning point, the really like OMG, like, oh my god, point of the story? Or do you think that another part, the refugee camp, do you think that was the OMG, the climax, like the very top, the most exciting part of the story? Okay, and so now he was going back to Sudan, right? And now he's going to find his father. Dun, 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 right? Okay, chapter 17, Southern Sudan, 2009. Back to Naya. A school. Naya was really excited. They were going to build a school. But did you feel sad for Naya because Naya's never been to school? Or did you feel happy for Naya? And also, were you surprised that Naya didn't even know how to read or write? Or did you just feel sorry? Okay. Okay, I wanted to ask you about how you think that Salah's father felt, and also, were you a little, did you get the sniffles? Did you need to get some Kleenex when you read this? I definitely had to grab some tissues, to wipe away the tears of joy and sadness at the same time. And also, what do you think about everyone's back at the village, right? Or at least the mother, and of course some of them were dead. But Ring has survived the war. They had died, right? Some of them had died, but some of them were alive. Did you feel more sad about this, or were you just more excited in the end? I had to get some more tissues at this point. Okay, and also, I wanted to ask you about Salva. He spoke in front of an audience, right? And, he's going to do a project about Southern Sudan, right? Salva, so the organizations, right? One step at a time. Salva moved towards his goal, right? What do you feel about this? And are you going to do the same thing when you grow up? I love nature, and I'm going to try to help animals. I'm going to make speeches. I've already got an organization called Save with my friends. So we're doing that. The falcon is the mascot. We're going to totally do it, okay? Okay, chapter 18 is all about Naya in chapter 18, right? There's no Salva part. But there's a twist. Hey, Naya, how do you think that she felt? That she didn't even have to walk like a mile. She didn't even have to walk half a mile. She had to walk like 10 feet for water. It's the same for me. I can just go to my kitchen. Fun fact, I can see my kitchen from right here. Also, I wanted to ask you, do you think that to Naya, it would have seemed like magic when the water came out? And also, then there's the boss, right? And what do you think about how, Nuer and Dinka fought together, right? And Naya was Nuer, but Dinka helped the Nuer. What do you think about this? Do you think that this was do you think that was sort of like a traitor, right? Or traitor. But anyway, there's the boss, right? And the last sentence is this. Well, not the last sentence, not completely, but it is this. Like, one of the last sentences is this. I am happy to meet you, Naya, he said. My name is Salva. We're finished with the book. What did you feel about this? I was so surprised. I was so emotional. This book, how did you feel about it? I mean, like, oh my god. When I always read this, I always almost faint because it's such a good book. I love this book. I always get emotional about this book. And getting emotional is okay. It means that you really feel deeply. Actually, being emotional in stories actually is better than being non-emotional. That doesn't mean that non-emotional people, like people who don't really show a lot of emotion, that doesn't mean that they're bad. I'm sometimes not emotional when I read a book. Even if it's sad, I just keep on reading. But sometimes getting emotional is okay, okay? Okay, what did you feel about this amazing book? What do you think that some of the major themes are? There could be family, friends, But I think that another theme is this. Take one step at a time towards your goal, not the whole thing at once, right? It helps Salva in many different situations, and it helped me when I was learning decimals. Fun fact. Okay, anyway, we're finished with this amazing book. Linda Sue Park is an amazing author. She's also written Prairie Lotus, and I also think she got a Newbery Medal for the single shot, and she's got tons of other books. She's written 2 of the 39 Clues books in the series. Hope that you check out all of her books, okay guys? Okay, we're almost done. I just wanted to ask you a few last questions. Number 1, what was your favorite part in these chapters? Number 2, the whole book. What was your favorite part in the whole book? Okay, I won't number them. Okay, and then there's also, what was your favorite character and then your least favorite character? My favorite character was, of course, Salva. My least favorite character, I would say, all of them are pretty nice, but I don't like... Actually, I'm gonna have to think about that. Okay. And what do you predict is going to happen next for Salva? Just curious, because even though it shows Salva when he's an adult, so it shows Salva as an adult. So I want to ask you another question. What do you think happened in between when Salva was there? It sort of shows, but still, could you just say a short story about something that Salva's done between? It could be easy, like you could say Salva walked into a civic organization and he made a speech. That simple, okay? But you can make it much more interesting. There's also a note from the real Salva Dutt, okay, in Linda Sue Park. So I hope that you also read that book, that part. But I'm not gonna talk anything about that. But I read it, I also got emotional. Anyway, hope that you had a great time with me, and just keep on reading, because reading is amazing, okay? Reading is my motto. Keep on reading. It's fun. Okay, guys.